Now, I'm going to review Death Stranding as far as I've gotten into the game, which is a big chunk into Chapter 3 of the game, and I know that it's much longer than that, and I've got a lot to get into. But I obviously been playing this game for a while. I've got like a 57 rating or something like that, and I've unlocked a lot of stuff. I've made a lot of deliveries as Sam Porter Bridges, who is a porter who works for the company Bridges. And it's like there are a lot of confounding things about this game. And the thing that I will say right out of the get-go is that Death Stranding's trailers are the game. Remember how weird those trailers were and how much we were like, what the hell is Kojima up to? What is going on with it's the game. That's the game. So get ready to deliver a lot of packages in this game and get ready to struggle with the environment and get ready to be completely underpowered. It takes forever to start having fun. I have to be honest with that. It takes a long time. It reminded me of Final Fantasy 13, how that game eventually opened up and got a little bit more interesting and gave you more abilities and more enjoyment. This is that same kind of thing. And I have a real aversion to developers kind of wasting my time with games that aren't fun right from the get-go. I think that first 10 hours, if it isn't the most important part of the game, it's one of. I'd say it's either one or two of the most important parts of a game. You got to wrap things up and land properly at the end for sure, for you to have a kind of a resonant feel and talk to your friends about how much you enjoyed a game. And that's incredibly important. But that opening is very important. And Death Stranding does not stick the opening. The opening is a drag. I was getting angry at the game because you are trying to walk around with all these packages and you're using the left and right trigger buttons to kind of stay. And we've played this in mini games in a million, like they're Mario Party type mini games where you're pressing buttons to try to balance boxes. We've done that before, Hideo. But that's so much of the opening part of the game. And meanwhile, you're getting chased by things and you have no way to take care of them at all. You have no weapons, nothing. You're just basically running for your life with boxes and pressing the trigger buttons, trying not to fall and stumble over rocky terrain, and then going through water. And there were many times at the beginning of this game, and honestly, up until today, because I was playing right up until I left to come to the studio, there were many times where I'd fall into the water, I'd lose all my shit, all my packages are just floating down the stream, and I'm like trying to paddle and stand up and press the circle button and then press the triangle button to get all. It's like a Benny Hill segment or a Lucille Ball thing. It's like all you lose, or Peter Sellers, from the Pink Panther. You lose all your crap and you got to hurry up to try to get it before it gets flushed away. And then meanwhile you might have some BT, these beach things, these very creepy, very cool, aesthetically nefarious looking creatures that are coming after you, and you're losing your stuff, you have no weapons, so you feel like all things are against you at the beginning of this game, and it just takes forever. And what you're trying to do, which I think is the pure heart and pure soul of the game, and what makes this thing work, is you're trying to connect all of these cities across this destroyed dystopian America. And it's a fascinating kind of look at how the internet connects us all, and how social media can be a thing for good, and it also employs the idea of being socially connected, at least asynchronously, to your fellow comrades in arms that are also trying to deliver packages in their own gameplay. There's a lot of that sort of Dark Souls kind of sharing of information or sharing of actual physical creations within the game world. If you play online, somebody may have started a bridge or a road or left a rope for you or something like that. All of those elements are really fantastic, and I think add a tremendous amount of virtue and value to sticking with the game. I'm at the point where manipulating and navigating my character through the world is much more rewarding and much more enjoyable. But even today, even with an exoskeleton that allowed me to run much faster and carry more boxes, I had to climb a mountain, and I fell down the mountain, and my shit was falling all the way down the bottom of the mountain, and I'm just like through my controller, I'm like, what this game? And so it's one of those things where the frustration stays with you the entire time. And I've literally just been swearing at the game, like just it's abusive, this relationship I have with it. Aesthetically, it's incredible. It's a beautiful game, although I've seen way too much of Norman Reedus's ass. Like it's just so many shower sequences. Yeah, and like you make grenades, the number 1 grenade out of the pee and the number 2 grenade out of the poo, and it's like, and you go to the bathroom and take showers every day or every time you get to like it's very esoteric. It's very strange and very weird. And honestly, I thought about all of these elements which make it a piece of art, and obviously something that Hideo and his team were trying to create something that, sort of escapes the boundaries of what we understand and sort of deem to be a video game. And you can totally argue that Hideo has nothing left to prove, neither does his team, Yoji Shinkawa and all those incredible people that he works with. They've done it all, right? They've already made masterpieces. They don't need to keep making those AAA video game masterpieces. They want to challenge themselves, and I appreciate that. But it's hard not to say, look, if you didn't go after all of these awesome rock bands to license all their music and get all of these incredible AAA actors and get them to be video game avatars for a little while, maybe we could have roughed the edges, sanded the edges down a little bit on the gameplay and made the opening chapters way more fun gameplay-wise, because they're not. What I will say, though, is the mechanics of the game are very, very good, very sound. The physics of manipulating the objects and carrying all that stuff. I mean, it's a statement about the silliness in video, I think it is, in all video games where we just carry these massive inventories around us, but we just put them in our pocket. How many animations have we seen where somebody grabs something and just puts it behind them, and it's like, oh, you just put a table behind your back. How are you carrying all that with you? I mean, we play a million games like that, and I think Hideo and his team were like, what if you could see every single piece of inventory and you had to deal with it? But physically, the mechanics of it are perfect. Like, it feels very grounded and very realistic, and when you're climbing up mountains or walking across things or walking through water, you feel it. It's so tactile, and the sort of the roots of the core design, the fundamental sort of manipulating your character through the world is so good and so compelling. And every delivery feels like an achievement, and you do get lots of rewards, that it is addictive, even though the gameplay beats you up and it takes way too long for you to get the good stuff and the cool stuff. The artistry of the cutscenes and the beautiful production values tied with the mechanics that are sound and they make you feel like you're connected to the world definitely are compelling. I'm going to finish this game. I'm definitely going to stay with it. I'm definitely going to have final thoughts on my experience with Death Stranding. I don't see it as a game of the year. I see it as, right now, I see it as a very cool artistic exercise and enterprise for everybody involved. I think it's a worthwhile escape, but I think it leans more heavily in the direction of Metal Gear Solid 2 than my favorites. I'm a 3 guy, and I loved what he did with 4, and 5 was pretty cool for me, but 2 I would never play again, and this game feels a lot more like it's leaning in that direction. Even still, there's lots that I enjoy about this game, and I'll definitely have some final thoughts. What I played so far, though, I'd give Death Stranding a 7.5 out of 10.